15 teams are left in this year's Europa League. Which two teams will meet in the final in Sevilla? Will it be the Europa League Kings in Sevilla? Will it be FC Barcelona? Here is the round of 16 predictions of this year's Europa League. Remember to give your predictions in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe, obviously, if you're new around here. And give me your thoughts if your team is playing in this round. How are you feeling? Are you feeling confident ahead of the tie? But further ado, let's get to the round of 16 predictions. In the first matchup, we have Rangers taking on Red Star Belgrade. What an interesting matchup we have here. Rangers, who overcame Dortmund in impressive fashion, destroying them away in Dortmund 4-2, then drawing back at Ibrox 2-2. So you got to give massive credit to Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's side. Rangers will be happy, I think, with this Red Star draw. I think they could have gone much tougher opponents, but Red Star, I think, are one of the weaker teams that you can face in the round of 16. Tavernier, amazing performances against Dortmund, so he has to continue that. And they have the ability to score goals, Rangers, but defensively, that's the big issue for me. They have conceded way too many goals in the Europa League, and then obviously now recently in SPL, they obviously drew with Motherwell 2-2, so they concede quite a few goals. So that's something that they cannot do in this tie. And for Red Star, with a solid defense, only conceding 4 goals in the group stage, and as well doing very well in the Serbian league as always, coming off a win in the Eternal Derby over Partizan, so that will give them massive confidence ahead of this tie. You know, they're going to push for the league alongside Partizan Belgrade. And Alexander Katai in the midfield is having an amazing season, so that's one player to watch out for from this Red Star team. Now, this is a very tricky prediction because Rangers, they can score against anybody, but they can't defend. Red Star, I feel, are going to struggle a little bit to score in this tie. The one thing is, if Red Star can maybe lose by 1 goal or draw at the Ibrox, they take it back to Belgrade, I think then they can win this tie. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Red Star winning this tie over Rangers. The second tie, it is Braga taking on AS Monaco. So Braga, after a comeback victory over Sheriff on penalties, where they were 2-0 down in the first leg, they got it to 2-0 in the second leg, and then they won on penalties. Braga's league form is, still inconsistent. I just don't think they have the caliber of players to consistently perform well. But we know with Captain Horta, Braga will be more defensive, and I think hit Monaco more on the counterattack, whereas against Sheriff, they were much more the dominant team in possession. So that's something that Braga has to worry about in this tie. But, they can play against any good team in this competition. And for Monaco, it's been a bit of a poor season in the league, I'm not going to lie. Currently placed in 9th position at the time of this recording. We know they have quality. They came through a tough group stage in the Europa League. And now with Felipe Clemente, former Club Brugge manager, who took over as manager, they have talent. It's just about showing that consistently. And they have not been able to do that on a consistent basis this season. But I think they have a little bit too much for Braga in this tie. So I think Monaco will win this tie. The third tie, it is Porto taking on Lyon. So we know Porto, man. This side is always good in Europe. After advancing through a tough tie, I think, against Lazio, another one awaits them in Lyon. With Taremi, Ivan Nilsson up front, and still, the old man Pepe still leading at the back. He is aging like fine wine, I must say, Pepe. And with obviously the brilliant manager Sergio Conceição. Porto are such a joy to watch. They play very good football, attractive football, and Conceição is a very good manager. I think he's going to be highly touted maybe this summer or the next summer from top clubs, I think, in Europe, because I think he fully deserves it, even though, Porto are a big club. But we've seen in recent years that the managers and players leave the club. And for Lyon, another team that have been disappointing in Liga this season, right? At the time of recording, they are 10th in Liga. With the talent they have, they can create a lot of chances. They dominate possession in a lot of games, but sometimes they don't take their chances or they don't create enough. We know they have the Europa League top goal scorer in Toko Ekambi, who had a fantastic AFCON, of course. So they scored the most goals in the group stage with 16 goals. I'm worried about their inconsistency. And sometimes, even against the worst teams in Liga, they struggle to score. So that's something that Lyon have to be worried about against this Porto side that can defend and they can also score. So I'm not a big fan of Lyon when it comes to their inconsistency that they've been showing this year. So for that reason, I think Porto have too much for Lyon, and I think Porto will advance in this tie. The fourth tie, it is Atalanta taking on Bayer Leverkusen, or should we call this the Goal Fest tie? Because I think that's what's going to happen in this tie. But remember, I told you guys about Atalanta in the last predictions video for the Europa League. I said they were massively struggling heading into the tie against Olympiacos, but they were in very impressive fashion. Advanced, they got the 3-0 win away in Athens. Malinowski with 2 goals, of course. So Are Atalanta back? Maybe time will tell. But they showed some good sort of form in Serie A recently. Now Muriel is back from his injury, so that's going to help them attacking-wise. Defensively, they got to be on point because we know this Bayer Leverkusen side love to score. So I think Atalanta are in a little bit of a comeback, and they have a big Serie A title push to go for because, they're not out of it. And for Bayer Leverkusen, this side just love to score and concede. They love to score and concede some more. So if you're a neutral, you'll love watching Bayer Leverkusen. One problem I have with them heading into this tie, Patrick Schick is going to be injured. He's out for now a couple weeks, so that's a big shame to Bayer Leverkusen and this tie. But we know the other players they have, Diaby, Florian Wirtz. These guys will have to step up. I think they will. Moussa Diaby is having an amazing season with Bayer Leverkusen. I just think they have too much for Atalanta. And I think Atalanta are going to focus a little bit more on the Serie A because they're pushing for a top 4 finish. And who knows, maybe even a Scudetto. We live in this crazy world, so why not Atalanta win the Serie A? But I think Bayer Leverkusen will advance in this tie. In the 5th tie, it is Sevilla taking on West Ham United. So for Sevilla, the Europa League royalty, still in the title race in La Liga. They're not out of it, but it's slowly a little bit fading away. But of course, they'll want to make the final in their own stadium in the Europa League. That's where the final is going to be played at. We'll see if Martial is back from injury. I'm not too sure about his status, but he was injured in the last couple of games, so let's see if he's going to be back for this tie. One thing that's been lacking from Sevilla this season in certain games is just goal scoring, right? Defensively, they are solid. Lopetegui's side always are very well structured, but they just can't score enough. But I think against West Ham, they might have a bit too much. But for West Ham, Moyes' side, you got to give them once again credit. They finished first in the Europa League group stage, something they couldn't do in their previous accounting in this tournament where they couldn't even qualify for the group stage. They're still hunting for a top 4 finish in Premier League. Antonio needs to step up, right? I know he's not really a natural goal scorer, right? But he has 2 goals in 2022. And he is their only real natural striker. So Antonio needs to step up. We know their midfield is very strong with Souček and Declan Rice. Solid back line. The thing for West Ham is they play such a low block that if you give this Sevilla side a lot of chances, eventually they're going to take advantage of it. And we know with Rakitic, El Munir, and these sort of guys for Sevilla, I just think Sevilla have a bit too much. They are just so accustomed to this tournament, and we know Lopetegui is a good manager against David Moyes, who has now revitalized his career. But I think Sevilla will advance in this tie against West Ham. 6th matchup we are going to talk about, it is Barcelona against Galatasaray. So Barcelona, Xavi Ball is on fire. And I mean on absolute fire. They are destroying teams. They are scoring for fun. They're averaging 4 goals a game now, it seems like. Every game is 4 goals. 4 goals for them. 4 goals against you. 4 goals against Valencia, Napoli. All of these teams are feeling the effect of Xavi Ball at the moment. And it's just incredible to see how a couple months make such a difference. When it was horrible to watch FC Barcelona under that Dutch manager, who we will not speak of. Now, with the refreshed front 3, with Ferran Torres, Aubameyang, obviously then you can put Traore, Ousmane Dembele, you can bring Luke de Jong, who I was calling a Dutch lamppost, now he's scoring for fun. You can obviously now bring on Memphis Depay, who's back from injury. So Barca have a lot of options up front. We know they're solid in the midfield. Defensively still, I'm very worried for them. They still concede quite a few goals, so that's something they have to be worried about in this tie against Galatasaray. And for Galatasaray, they were an absolute free fall in January. They were an absolute free fall. They were nearing a relegation zone. Galatasaray. Yeah, that was happening to them. But form is now improving a little bit more. They're out of now sort of a relegation battle. And now with the addition of Bafatembi Gomis, Galatasaray hero, he's back there. And it seems like with Dominic Torrent, who obviously came in I think it was January if I'm not mistaken, he's kind of turned the fortunes around for Galatasaray after a very shaky start. But it's going to be very, very difficult for them against Barcelona, and especially this Barcelona at the moment. So I think just Barcelona have way, way too much for this Galatasaray side. But it could get interesting if it's narrow at the Camp Nou and then heading back to Istanbul. Who knows? Maybe Galatasaray can shock in this tie. But I think Barcelona have too much. 7th tie. It was supposed to be RB Leipzig against Spartak Moscow, but we know that all Russian clubs are banned from UEFA competitions this year, so RB Leipzig are now through to the quarter-finals. The 8th tie. It is Real Betis taking on Eintracht Frankfurt. So we know Real Betis still are in 3rd place in La Liga. Will they still be focusing on Europa League? or they're going to focus now more on La Liga and securing a top 4 position. This is something that Real Betis will have to think about. Do they have the sort of squad that can compete on both fronts? But we know with this squad, when you have Fekir, Juanmi, Canales, Betis can score against Eintracht Frankfurt. And Eintracht Frankfurt are another team that have been so inconsistent this season. They didn't have the toughest group, I thought, in the Europa League group stage. Now, currently, at the time of recording, on a 3-game losing streak where they haven't scored a goal. Who's going to score the goals for them? Frankfurt, they have some decent players, but I just think against this Real Betis side who are on fire. Yes, they're coming off a loss in the Sevilla derby, but I'm still liking this Real Betis side under Pellegrini, of course. So I just think with Eintracht Frankfurt just being a little bit too inconsistent and not having the quality like Real Betis, I think Real Betis will advance in this tie. So there is the round of 16 Europa League predictions video. Remember guys, if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel, like the video if we can get up to 16 likes because it is the round of 16. That would be fantastic. Let me know your predictions in the comment section down below. Don't worry, the Conference League prediction video is coming soon, and there will be a video about Bodo Glimt coming up in the very near future. Have a beautiful day, stay safe in this crazy world like I always say, and adios!